good, you're good, you're good. We're good. Step right, step back forward. In Los Angeles tonight, the Hells Angels gang has launched a violent assault on the Sinaloa cartel, destroying multiple safe houses and seizing millions in cash and drugs.
In just one night, the Hells Angels gang tore through Los Angeles, raiding cartel safe houses, torching millions in drugs, and changing the city forever. But no one, not even the cartel, saw what was coming next. What looked like another late-night drug bust was actually a full-scale underground war, carried out in total silence. By sunrise, 7 cartel operations were gone. The once untouchable Sinaloa cartel, the same empire that ran LA's drug trade for decades, was suddenly collapsing from within. For the first time in years, people in East LA and Boyle Heights could breathe without fear. But as the smoke cleared, a new question began to rise. Did Los Angeles really win that night, or did it just trade one monster for another? Let's break it down. Just after midnight, phones started buzzing across Los Angeles. Every Hells Angels member got the same call from their charter leader: short, calm, and deadly serious. Meet up. Bring your gear.
Get to the clubhouse right now and bring all your hardware, which meant bring your guns.
Within minutes, engines roared to life all over the city. No one asked questions. Everyone knew what it meant. They'd been waiting months for this night. A carefully planned strike meant to cripple the Sinaloa cartel's entire Los Angeles operation in a single sweep. By 1 a.m., convoys of blacked-out SUVs and unmarked vans began rolling through the city. The bikers ditched their trademark Harleys for stolen vehicles, blending in like ghosts. Dressed in tactical gear, carrying military-grade weapons, they looked less like outlaws and more like a special forces unit preparing for war. Their targets were spread across the city: Boyle Heights, Pico Rivera, East LA, Commerce, and Montebello. Each site had been under quiet surveillance for weeks. They knew the schedules, the guards, the blind spots. Every move was timed to the second. At 3:17 a.m., the first compound was hit. Security cameras were looped to show empty hallways while the real assault unfolded. Within 90 seconds, the Hells Angels had full control. By 4 a.m., 7 cartel safe houses had been raided. Millions in cash vanished. Hard drives, ledgers, and phones gone. And at a massive warehouse in Commerce, 3 tons of cocaine worth nearly $200 million were soaked in gasoline and set ablaze. When dawn broke, Los Angeles woke up to chaos. Police scanners crackled with reports of gunfire, explosions, and burning warehouses. Cartel enforcers scrambled for answers, yet no one claimed responsibility. Not the DEA, not rival gangs, not even the cartel itself. By sunrise, one thing was clear: the Sinaloa cartel's grip on Los Angeles had been broken, and in its place, a new power was rising, one more organized, more ruthless, and far more unpredictable. When the smoke finally cleared that morning, the Hells Angels were long gone. By the time police and federal agents reached the scenes, the cartel's safe houses looked like they'd been hit by a trained military unit. Precise, surgical, and devastating. But the biggest discovery of the night wasn't what was left behind. It was what the Angels took. In Boyle Heights, a shabby auto repair shop had served as one of the cartel's main money laundering fronts. It looked like any other corner garage, but behind a rusted steel door at the back of the shop, the bikers found a hidden staircase leading underground. What waited below was the cartel's secret nerve center. The basement stretched deep under the property. Rows of filing cabinets, cash counting machines, and computers humming quietly in the dark. Bundles of bills stacked in crates, later estimated at more than $14 million in cash, lined the walls. But the real treasure wasn't the money. Tucked between the ledgers were encrypted drives and handwritten records listing offshore bank accounts, fake corporations, property deeds. It was a roadmap to the cartel's entire Los Angeles empire. The Angels didn't waste time. They grabbed every drive, every ledger, every phone. They wiped surveillance footage, stripped the computers, and vanished into the night, leaving no trace except confusion. That data gave them something more valuable than weapons: control. With those files, they could track shipments, intercept payments, and locate every remaining Sinaloa outpost across the city. From that point on, this wasn't just about revenge or territory. The Hells Angels weren't fighting to survive anymore. They were dismantling an empire, one name, one address, and one secret at a time. This raid didn't just hit a few stash houses. It struck the heart of the Sinaloa cartel. For decades, the Sinaloa organization controlled massive drug corridors, running from the mountains of Mexico to major American cities like Los Angeles. They built an empire on narcotics, human smuggling, and money laundering, operating with military precision and political protection. But by early 2025, that empire was crumbling. Infighting within its top ranks, especially between rival factions like La Mayiza and the younger Chapitos, tore the cartel apart from the inside. Once loyal lieutenants turned on each other, mid-level commanders defected, and trusted couriers vanished with millions in cash. It wasn't just greed, it was survival. Meanwhile, US and Mexican authorities launched a historic joint crackdown. The DEA's global surge operation hit Sinaloa's network across 3 continents, seizing record drug shipments and arresting top operatives. Supply chains collapsed. Smuggling routes went dark, and in Los Angeles, cartel bosses were suddenly stranded, cut off from Mexico, from leadership, and from the money that kept them safe. That vacuum was exactly what the Hells Angels had been waiting for. Their assault on the cartel's infrastructure wasn't just about control. It marked a new era of organized crime, one where traditional cartels were being replaced by decentralized, hyper-violent networks of biker clubs, street gangs, and mercenary crews. Then came the digital blackout. Within 48 hours of the Angels' coordinated cyber strike, the Sinaloa network went completely dark. Shipments were rerouted to wrong addresses, encrypted radios jammed, and cartel leaders turned on each other in panic. FBI and DEA surveillance collapsed at the same time. Wiretaps went silent, GPS trackers froze, and informants vanished. It was as if the entire underworld had gone dark. Agents thought they were watching the self-destruction of a cartel, but behind that chaos, the truth was worse. The Hells Angels weren't just dismantling an empire, they were taking it over. One encrypted file, one burned safe house, and one corpse at a time. But before they could claim victory, they opened a door that would haunt them forever. The Angels thought they'd seen everything: cash, cocaine, corruption. But nothing prepared them for what they found next. The clue came from one of the ledgers they'd stolen during the raids, a plain address in Anaheim tucked between coded notes and strange initials. At 2 a.m., a small crew decided to check it out. They cut the power, slipped through the side door, and stepped into silence. What they found inside stopped even the toughest of them cold. Every window was sealed with plywood. In the back, behind welded metal doors, they found 17 victims, mostly young women, some still teenagers, crammed into tiny, filthy rooms that had been turned into cages. The youngest was just 14 years old. They'd been lured from Central America with promises of restaurant or factory jobs, only to be trapped in the Sinaloa cartel's human trafficking ring, bought, sold, and discarded like property. For a long moment, no one spoke. These were men hardened by violence, used to seeing bodies and blood. But this was different. This was evil. That night, for the first time in years, the Hells Angels did something unthinkable for an outlaw gang. They called the FBI. Within hours, anonymous tips began flooding into law enforcement with precise addresses, names, and evidence trails. Federal agents arrived to find the victims safe, the traffickers gone, and enough proof to link the operation directly to cartel leadership. What began as a brutal turf war had just become something personal. The Hells Angels weren't chasing power anymore. They were chasing vengeance, and from that moment on, their mission changed. In just a few days, the Hells Angels did what law enforcement couldn't in decades. They dismantled the Sinaloa cartel's Los Angeles operation, piece by piece, fast, brutal, and silent. The bikers weren't striking blindly. They were hunting. They had intel on every name, safe house, and vehicle tied to the cartel. One by one, lieutenants disappeared. When police later found bodies dumped along highways, the message was clear. Los Angeles had a new ruler. The shift was immediate. Streets once ruled by cartel pushers went quiet. Drug supplies dried up, prices soared, and for the first time in decades, neighborhoods like East LA and Boyle Heights felt calm. News outlets called it a mysterious collapse. Politicians rushed to claim victory, hailing it as a breakthrough in the war on drugs. But every agency knew the truth. This wasn't their work. The cartel hadn't been dismantled by the government. It had been destroyed by outlaws who played by no rules. The Angels had achieved what countless investigations, raids, and federal budgets never could. They wiped out an empire using the same tools the cartel once ruled with: fear, precision, and power. For residents, it looked like peace. For law enforcement, it was unnerving silence. Los Angeles wasn't celebrating justice, it was celebrating relief, unaware that a new force was already moving in to fill the void. Because in the underworld, power never disappears, it only changes hands, and this time, it belonged to the Hells Angels. After the raids, the Hells Angels didn't disappear. They built something bigger. What started as a string of violent attacks turned into a well-organized system. The gang set up safe houses that now work as drug hubs, used local shops and repair garages to launder money, and began working with smaller gangs to control neighborhoods. This new setup changed everything. The cartel used to run most of the drug and human smuggling routes through Los Angeles. Now, the Hells Angels have taken over those same operations, and they're doing it with more force and less fear. Their control reaches from street corners to business fronts, and it's spreading fast. Federal and local agencies, the DEA, FBI, LAPD, and task forces are trying to track them, but it's not easy. The Angels work in small, secret groups that are almost impossible to infiltrate. They've built deep connections on the streets, using loyalty and intimidation to keep outsiders out. Police say the city is now unpredictable. Some nights are calm, but others explode into sudden gunfights or turf wars. Even with new arrests and drug seizures, agents admit the Angels are winning. For every operation shut down, another one pops up somewhere else. In local neighborhoods, people feel torn. Many are relieved the Sinaloa cartel is gone, but they also fear the bikers' harsh rule. Residents talk about fewer shootings but more intimidation, men on motorcycles collecting taxes, and threatening anyone who refuses to cooperate. Community leaders warn that if something doesn't change, this new power could take root for good. Police have added more patrols, and nonprofits are stepping in to help at-risk kids stay out of gangs. But everyone knows this problem is bigger than law enforcement. Los Angeles didn't escape the underworld, it just switched bosses. And if the Angels can take down a cartel this powerful, who's going to stop them next?